Welcome back to RV News, your go-to source for the latest and most reliable updates on global currency shifts, dinar revaluation news, and the inside scoop from financial insiders and government reports. If you're serious about IQD, VND, and other major currency plays, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an urgent update. We dig through official documents, decode banking memos, and bring you the raw truth the mainstream media won't touch. And today, we have breaking news that could change everything. The Iraqi Gazette has just published what appears to be a confirmed official date for the long-anticipated revaluation of the Iraqi Dinar, June 17th. Yes, you heard that right. June 17th. Let's break it all down and explain why smart investors are already making moves. For years, the revaluation, or RV, of the Iraqi dinar has been surrounded by speculation, government leaks, and global financial politics. But for the first time, we're seeing something concrete from one of the most authoritative sources within Iraq, the Iraqi Gazette, the official legal publication of the Iraqi government. This isn't a blog post or a forum rumor. This is an official document, and it's turning heads in financial circles. The Iraqi Gazette, much like the Federal Register in the United States, is the legal vehicle through which the government of Iraq publishes its laws, decisions, and regulations. Anything published in this gazette holds legal weight. And on June 10th, just a few days ago, a line buried within a dense economic reform bulletin pointed directly to a currency reform law set to take effect on June 17th, 2025. That law specifically outlines the adoption of a new exchange structure and references updated foreign exchange rates in accordance with international monetary compliance. Let's translate that into plain language. The Iraqi government is officially recognizing that a major change is coming to its foreign exchange system, and they're giving us a date. This isn't just about internal accounting or monetary policy. This is about aligning the Iraqi dinar with global exchange systems in a way that signals an increase in value. Over the years, Iraq has made numerous efforts to stabilize its economy, rebuild infrastructure, and boost oil exports. But nothing has galvanized both domestic and foreign investors like this new announcement. The June 17th date has now become a flashpoint in the currency revaluation community. Now, let's explore what this means for investors and why people are scrambling to secure their positions in the IQD. If the dinar revalues at even a fraction of what many experts and insiders believe it could, the returns could be life-changing. Think of it this way. If you're holding 1 million IQD, which today might cost around $800-900 USD, and the RV comes in at 0.10 per dinar, you're suddenly looking at a return of $100,000. That's a nearly 100x return. And if the rate adjusts even higher, say to 0 to 50 or $1, as some have speculated, based on Iraq's oil reserves, gold holdings, and new international trade agreements, we're talking about generational wealth. Of course, smart investors know not to go all in on hype alone. That's why this announcement in the Iraqi Gazette is so important. It moves the RV conversation out of the shadows and into the light of official documentation. For years, we've heard about behind-the-scenes negotiations, bank memos, and leaked intel from military and financial insiders. But having a published government document with a specific implementation date gives this a level of credibility we haven't seen before. What's more, regional banks in the Middle East are already preparing for the shift. We've received multiple tips from contacts in Jordan and the UAE who have seen their institutions temporarily halt dinar sales, citing regulatory realignment. That's not a coincidence. Further corroborating this news is the sudden activity in Iraq's central bank. Just this past week, the CBI issued an internal circular to major commercial banks, warning them to complete audits of their dinar holdings and prepare for upcoming modifications in digital and physical currency management. Internal restructuring, when paired with the Gazette publication, paints a picture of a country on the brink of a major monetary transformation. And this isn't happening in a vacuum. Global interest in Iraq is heating up. Just last month, Iraq signed energy and infrastructure deals with China and Germany worth billions of dollars. These deals include long-term currency conversion agreements, which only make sense if Iraq is moving toward a stable and internationally accepted dinar. Let's also talk about the political side of this. Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani has made economic reform the cornerstone of his agenda. Since taking office, he's pushed for anti-corruption legislation, restructured oil contracts, and worked with the IMF and World Bank to boost investor confidence. Many of his reforms required the backing of major Shia clerics and tribal leaders, support that he now appears to have secured. The publication in the Gazette may have been delayed for political reasons, but now that it's out, there's no turning back. As one analyst from the London-based Middle East Monitor put it, the publication of this revaluation date signals the culmination of years of back-channel diplomacy between Baghdad and international stakeholders. This is the signal that foreign investors have been waiting for. Back on the ground in Iraq, the signs are also there. Local news reports indicate that citizens are being encouraged to exchange their old notes for new ones ahead of a digital currency rollout. Billboards in Baghdad promote the use of electronic banking and internationally recognized dinar value. Even more telling is that Iraq's stock market, the ISX, has seen a sharp increase in foreign trading volume over the past 2 weeks. This kind of economic activity doesn't happen by accident. It's coordinated. The question now is, what happens between now and June 17th? From our sources, we're hearing that banks, both inside Iraq and in allied nations, are in what they're calling a currency stabilization window. This period, lasting from June 10th to June 17th, is being used to prepare systems, synchronize international exchange rate platforms, and brief tellers and digital banking teams. Quiet memos circulating among Tier 1 banks in Europe and North America indicate preparations for exotic currency reprice events scheduled between the 16th and 18th of June. That's not a coincidence either. While these banks aren't yet publicly acknowledging any revaluation of the IQD, the internal chatter is loud and it's accelerating. So what should you, the smart investor, be doing right now? First, ensure your dinar is properly authenticated. Counterfeits are still out there, and when the revaluation hits, only verified, authentic IQD will be accepted. Second, research and identify Tier 1 banks or reputable currency exchangers that have a history of dealing with exotic currencies. Not all banks will exchange dinar right away, but those involved in international currency markets and SWIFT transactions are likely candidates. Third, be mentally and logistically prepared for various rate tiers. Based on reports from financial insiders, it's possible there will be multiple exchange rates: street rate, a market rate, and potentially a contract rate reserved for larger holders or those participating in humanitarian projects. Also, remember that timing is everything. If you're holding IQD, watch the Forex markets and Iraqi news closely from now through the end of June. We may see rate fluctuations or a phased rollout. The initial revaluation could be a partial one, say from 1,320 IQD per USD to 1.1 parity with the dollar, but a second adjustment might occur days or weeks later. This is a financial chess game, and the central banks want to control the rollout to avoid speculative chaos. That's why many high net worth individuals are already locking in exchange appointments at redemption centers. Yes, these centers exist, and yes, they are real. They're typically set up to handle larger currency exchanges quietly and securely, outside of traditional bank branches. We've confirmed that at least 5 such centers in Texas, Florida, and California have increased staffing and security in preparation for what one manager called a high-value foreign currency liquidity event. As the date approaches, the global financial community is watching closely. The IMF, World Bank, and even the U.S. Treasury have made indirect references to currency restructuring events in Iraq. While they stop short of calling it a revaluation, the language used in recent briefings and economic papers strongly supports the idea. Even Janet Yellen's recent remarks about emerging market currency normalization are seen by some as a subtle nod to Iraq's upcoming move. Meanwhile, Middle Eastern news outlets are more direct. Al-Sumaria and Al-Iraqiya TV have both aired segments discussing currency reform measures going into effect mid-June, including potential value adjustments to the dinar. The bottom line is this: we are on the edge of what could be one of the most significant financial events of our time. For over a decade, the Iraqi people and global investors have waited for this moment. The Iraqi dinar, once reduced to near worthlessness due to war and sanctions, is now poised to rise again. And with the Iraqi Gazette publishing a formal date, June 17th, the speculation has moved into the realm of reality. You can ignore rumors, you can ignore anonymous intel, but you cannot ignore AFI.